Welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast, show about fishing and random takes from Atlanta and Talton Lake. And if you're watching this on Friday, then not welcome back. Welcome. This is a podcast that drops every other Monday, but you happen to find it on our off week when it drops all by itself on Friday. Thank you. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, but also go over to
Yes.
Spotify and look up the Real AF TV podcast. You'll see a full 2 hours probably. And maybe you're not looking for something that long. That's why you came over here to YouTube. But
For the random take,
if
half the steak.
You are hanging in there with us for the full podcast, and you just came over from us talking about eating fish and all that good stuff. We're going to talk mobile games now.
That's right.
Mobile games. Tim, this is something that has developed in our lifetime. We watch this come from nothing to something.
Oh my goodness. For sure. Mobile in general has went from nothing to something. I remember getting a phone where you got the internet and it was like, I have the internet right here. This is crazy. And it sucked. And because too, they didn't have like proper keyboards. So when you're trying to type stuff in, you're like hitting the same button 3 times. Young kids don't even know about that. Where it's like
T9 motherfuckers. What do you even know about that, kids?
Bip, 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 and then you went past the letter once. Damn shit. You got to go back around. Oh man. That was a nightmare.
The worst.
But you could Google something, then it would take forever. But then you had to like pay for the amount of like the data and stuff could get crazy charges super fast because everything was higher amounts of data back then.
Right.
Or not necessarily higher amounts of data, but the amount of data that you got was considered to be way more back in the day.
Yeah, but you're not wrong either because websites weren't mobile friendly at all. So they weren't doing anything special to the code or the website or however, you want to go ahead and define that. But as the person that does that stuff, they were just feeding you a full on website and they didn't care because they weren't making it for mobile. They were making it for computers and it didn't matter. And so, you were using up even more data then, even though now we have unlimited data. The website was probably bigger.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. But anyways, we're not necessarily here to talk about the internet of it. We're here to talk about games. And I wanted to talk specifically about games with you because we game. We've already done a full episode on Pokemon Go, which is the epitome of a mobile game. That game couldn't exist anywhere else, literally. Think about it, right?
No, it for sure could not. There's no other way you could.
Yeah.
You have to have the mobile connection because you have to be mobile to play that game.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play it in your house, but it sucks. You catch the 2 Pokemon that's in your front yard and then you wait for more to spawn.
Yeah.
Where if you keep moving, they keep popping up.
Well, in the digital interactions with the physical world, right? Like, here's this park. There's a thing there. Yeah. You have to be at that park. You have to go and walk with your phone in your pocket in order to hatch eggs, in order to get candies, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it's remarkable. That's one of the biggest. I think that was the biggest game changer in recent years. Was that VR? Because I tried playing
AR,
Niantic.
Sorry.
Oh yes, AR. Sorry, AR. Yes, augmented reality. Yep. Not virtual. Yes,
you got it.
What was the first one called? It was by Niantic as well. What'd you say?
Yeah, no, it was. I was gonna say Niantic's game.
It was it was like a geo.
It was geocaching. It was like a geocaching sort of game.
Yep.
Right? Was it geocaching?
Yeah.
Where you walked around and it was like fake, not fake. It was digital geocaching. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you would go to stops, much like how Pokemon Go now has the stops where you could go to the stops and you could spin the stops.
Yep.
And whatever. It was like you would go to these spots and then you would kind of like leave. It was like a digital
Yep, a
like
digital
footprint or
version.
whatever, and then like
Mhm.
you could go and like other people could gather it and whatever, and it was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Like I'm like that was crazy where it was just like, no, you guys don't even understand. I take out my phone and then it shows me this map and I have to walk to the spot.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
after you do it, you're kind of like, what's the point of this? Like how much further can I go with this? But but then Pokemon Go comes out and they're just like, no, you walk around and Pokemon spawn in the world and then you catch it.
Yeah.
And that shit caught fire, dude. It was
Yeah, dude.
crazy. So many people
Mhm.
played it.
Because
And
it
then they
used the
tried it.
camera on your phone to
Yeah,
spawn these pocket monsters that you've been fucking stoked on since you were 9, and now
right.
they're there standing in front of you on the baseball field at the park that you're at. You're like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah,
Taking pictures next to him, like, fucking taking
right.
selfies with Charizard. Like, you were fucking stoked on that because it was using your camera, it was using your location. It's fucking sick. It is, it's still doing all that shit. And
Yeah,
there's just no way to port that experience. There just is
right.
no way. It'd be shit.
No, yeah, and it's just like nobody has been able to recreate the same thing. Like Pokemon is such a beloved game that it's been so
Right.
dope when it
Right.
came out. Niantic tried with another one with Harry Potter,
Mhm.
and it was okay. But you know, there's probably
But it
still
bit the
Harry
dust.
Potter fans out there that are playing and try to tell you that that's better than Pokemon Go because they like Harry Potter more, and it's just
Right.
whatever you're into. They also had like a dinosaur one. There was a Jurassic Park one
I was gonna
where
say
there was
Jurassic Park, but I don't think that was Niantic, was it?
no, that wasn't Niantic. That was somebody
Right.
else, and I didn't
Yep.
really play it much, but
Okay.
I
You gave
tried
it
a
a
little
shot though,
bit.
huh?
Yeah, I gave it a shot. I gave a lot of them a shot when I heard that there was a new one coming out because
Yep.
it's cool, but
Yep.
there's nothing that compares because Pokemon is such a dope game in itself. To
Yeah.
make another version of a
Right.
fantastic game already,
Right.
it's hard to beat it. So
Yeah,
I I
for
think there was
sure.
a lot of Pokemon Go changed the game, but there's been mobile gaming for a while because the mobile gaming has
Yeah.
been dope for a long time, depending on what kind of games you like. Puzzle games have been around forever,
Right.
you know?
Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I've been playing mobile games for a long time, but man, when the AR stuff started coming out, that was just a game changer because
Yeah.
you go it made it too where you start playing in different areas. You went from like I got nothing to do. I'm sitting in the waiting room of the doctor's office or whatever you're doing. I'm trying to kill time. I'm gonna play this
Right.
puzzle game.
Yep, yep,
Now
yep.
you're like, I'm gonna go for a walk to play my game. Like
Mhm,
I'm killing
mhm.
two birds. I'm gonna have fun while I go on
Right,
my walk. My walk is now enhanced
right.
because I'm looking at my Pokemon Go app and it's showing that there's a Charizard in the wild,
Yep,
which doesn't happen, and it
yep.
doesn't tell me where in the wild. So I'm just gonna walk around and
I'm just
hope it
gonna start
pops out.
walking.
And it's never told you where it is. So anybody, that used to play that bullshit or still thinks that they're just like, oh, but what if you're like in your neighbor's backyard? Get out of your neighbor's backyard. What are you doing?
They're not there.
They're
They're not in
not
your
there.
fucking neighbor's backyard.
They're in the main areas and they always have been. They're in
Right.
the busiest spots. The
Yes.
busiest spots
Yeah.
with the most foot traffic is where you're gonna find all the good shit.
Right. Yeah. They're not in
Don't
your
be
fucking neighbor's backyard.
no, don't be
Don't be
creeping
weird.
in.
But yeah,
And
you
also
no,
it
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. What
I
were
was
you
just
gonna
gonna
say?
say, also they're not that big of a deal. Nothing
Right.
in this game is like, I've never seen it before, you know?
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna jump 3 fences and fucking swim across this lake. Like,
Yeah, because
it's not
the
that.
name of the game is you gotta catch them all. Catching one doesn't do you much. You gotta catch a bunch of every kind,
Right,
and
right.
that's where it comes in. So, not
Yeah.
trying to go off on Pokemon Go again, but
No, no, but you're making all the points is that, like, it's really changed a lot lately because we were there when fucking Snake was on your black and white LED screen, right? Like, we had Game Boys
oh,
that was
yeah.
mobile gaming, and that's not the
Yeah.
version of mobile gaming that I'm talking about here. It's like, yeah, mobile gaming's been around for a long time, but dude, it really kicked off in the early 2000s with like puzzle games, right? You got Tetris in full color, like a real deal version of Tetris for like the first time in your hands. And
right.
It worked. It worked fine. It worked great. You got these like, upgraded versions of Game Boy games, or in some case, Game Boy games straight up.
Right.
Because the phone's capable of it. But
Yeah, dude.
That's exactly where this whole topic for me was going to go, is like, dude, you know that our phones are like more powerful than a PS2 now? Even a
Yeah, dude.
PS3 for the most part?
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. The processing power.
Crazy.
When you start up your phone, this thing can do so much, and it starts up so much faster than the consoles did.
Yeah.
And the consoles only had one task for the most part.
Boot this disc.
Yeah, right. And your phone's just doing all this different stuff. It's like
all this different shit.
Oh, I'm connecting the Bluetooth to your drive and save on your car because I'm gonna track your driving as you go to make sure you get a discount. Also, it's gonna open up all these different apps and stuff. Side note, I don't hope it doesn't hit me with any stuff, but I do have that drive and save thing. And it's like, oh, you were unsafe. What is it? Like distracted driving because you were looking at your phone. No, I wasn't. My kid was playing with my phone in the fucking car seat while I was driving the truck.
It's like I handed it to him so he'd shut the fuck up while I was going to the grocery store.
He's using my phone. Like I'm not using it. That's not fair.
That's not fair. I don't have enough money for 3 of these motherfuckers.
Sorry if anybody's been watching me look down at my phone here. I knew that there was a shirt in Pokemon Go that you could put. So I was like scrolling through Pokemon Go clothing because you can close your avatar or whatever.
Yep.
Ingress was the name of that like geocaching.
Oh, was it?
INGRESS because you can get the like shirt with the symbol on there. It was called Ingress.
Sick, dude. Good looking out. Yeah. So shout out to Ingress, the game that came before Pokemon Go.
Right. The game that set everything underway. And they're like, I think it's almost like we kind of worked out the bugs and how AR would work, and now it's time to put some pocket monsters in there.
Yeah, dude. And that we watched that not troubleshooting, but we almost watched the demo days happen. You remember when the Android store was just like drops of crazy shit, and you're like, what the fuck is this? But like there wasn't that much stuff on there, so you just download random game, like the puzzle games, like you were saying, because those were kind of just like easy swipe games, or like what are those, like seek games, seeks or something? What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Hidden item games. That's what we can call them. Like you would try to find the hidden item and you would just kind of click on it, or you'd have to like rotate your phone just the right direction to see it. It was starting to use the gyro of the phone. Okay. It's like find these 12 items, and then you'd have to hold your phone and find it, and like 10 out of 12 are super easy to find, and then turns out if you tilt your phone 12 degrees left, the other things appear, shit like that.
Trying to mess. Yeah, dude. I remember like when all this stuff first started hitting, like speaking of the store, where back in the day when you bought the phone, you'd just be pumped on what it came with. You know?
Like Snake.
Like, dude, dude, this has Snake. That's pretty cool. Like I can kill time with that. Sick. Or whatever other, you get like another game and you'd be like, this is kind of cool. Like you had 3 games.
Right.
And then when the app stores had stuff and you're just like, I can just put a new game on my phone and I don't have to pay anything for it. I just get to play this for real.
Right.
And then you like think something's up, and like, for a while there, you're kind of skeptical. You're like, well, what's the end game? Is this going to like shut down my phone? Are they trying to like, is this a virus? Why is it free? How come I don't have to pay for it?
Right. Yeah.
And then you're like, and then you realize, oh, they're getting paid for the ads.
Yep. Because the first time you start to see ads and you go, oh.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I get it. The ads suck. But this game didn't cost me anything. So whatever.
So yes, I put up with the ads.
Yeah. Well, I guess. And And then they got wise to it and they're just like, you don't want the ads? You can just pay us. We make money off the ads, but if you don't want the ads, you can just give us money.
Right. It's
And you're like,
$5.99. Just pay us.
yeah, I don't really care about this game enough.
Well, I
Keep
guess
the ads, please.
Yeah, dude. And so you're making a good point about the free and play, because I didn't even have that in my notes, and how that has sort of bled into the consoles now, right? Like that's how video gaming, when in the early 2000s, late 90s, when we were really getting into it, right? It was, you buy a console, you buy a game, it was done, and that was it. Like you paid 40, 50, 60 bucks for it. You put it in the console, it read it, and you played it, and it was it. That was done. And now it's just like Apex Legends is free. Fortnite's free. There's all these free, like the biggest games in the fucking world are console games that don't cost you a dime to download.
Right.
And that's totally because of mobile gaming. Like look at look how it has transformed the video game landscape in general.
For sure. Yeah, it's crazy. And then like there's no such thing as a hard disk for some of these games. Like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And the
buy
only
Fortnite
thing
physical. Can't.
Yeah. I think there's like physical stuff you can purchase, but it's like it's giving you all the in-game purchases without having to like put a credit card in and go through like the in-game purchase stuff. It's just like, here's your purchases. Straight
it comes
off
in
the
a
bat.
case, and then you open up the case and there's a piece of paper with a number on it.
With a number on it. Yeah.
Yep. That's 100% what it is.
I've never bought it, so I didn't know, but that's what I kind of figured, because I've got, you know, like the collector's edition stuff, you know, where you get your physical copy and then here's your code is the collector's edition stuff.
Right. Yeah. You're not specifically talking about Fortnite in this case, but you're talking about like, I got the collector's edition of The Last of Us. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. For sure.
Where you get your, you get your custom skins to let everybody know that I balled out, bro.
Yep. That's 100% what it is. That's no doubt. That's exactly what it is. The skins and stuff like that is funny that you bring it up, because that's how like all the free console games are making their money, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Even mobile games now, right? That's how they're making their skins. They'll just team up with like just what you said, the avatar from Niantic's first game, right?
Yeah.
You put that skin on it, but also there's a sweet fucking Snorlax shirt.
Right.
You have to pay $1.99 for it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You have to pay $1.99 just straight up. You have to give us $2 to get that shirt. And the old model was, oh, you want just buy the $10 more expensive game and we'll give you other stuff. Now those still happen. Don't get me wrong. Collector's editions are still 100% a thing. But now it's just like, here's this thing for $1.99 and here's this thing for $1.99. It's like every month there's something new for $1.99. Again, 100% from mobile gaming.
100%. And they do it with almost everything.
Yeah.
With console gaming, Mortal Kombat, you're like, here's the regular game.
Yeah.
And then like a little while in, they're just like, hey, we made Jason Voorhees, like from the Friday the 13th movies, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
and what you can do is put him in the game. He's got his whole set of finishing moves. It's only $4.99. Did you want the Jason? You're like, oh, yeah, Jason's pretty fucking cool, man. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And they're just like, oh, you know, what's Jason without getting a little bit of Freddy? You know what I'm saying? Freddy Krueger's in here too. Also $4.99. We'll throw them both in right now. $6.99. 2-for-1 deal. $6.99.
2 for 1.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. $6.99. Yeah. Give me them both.
Fine. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And it's all that part of console gaming came from mobile gaming, because these people like, Angry Birds, like fucking huge. I was obsessed with that game because of what they did. Because They didn't do anything that new. What they did is they created something at the right time for the right device that everybody had.
Yeah.
And they made it fucking look cool.
Very, very much so. And
There
the
were games
idea
like
of
that
it,
out.
what
They just
just
made it look cool. They made it
yeah,
sound cool too, don't forget.
yeah. And you just have to come up with like a cool premise. What a cool premise to just
Yes.
be like, you take this bird and then you knock that shit over. Why? Pigs or whatever.
The
Knock it
pigs made him
over.
angry?
Yeah, the pigs
Mm.
made him angry. My son calls them mad birds.
Fuck yes.
I love it.
That is
Because they got the
awesome.
movies too. He's like, "Can we watch Mad Birds?" Yeah, dude, we can watch Mad Birds.
Sure. We can watch Mad Birds. It's like Mad Men, except for with birds. All the birds are just drinking
Yeah.
scotch and selling ads. I don't know.
Well, and so the mobile gaming and stuff made everybody realize too, or made all the developers realize that what happens in the games is your whole goal is to progress, you know? And
Right.
some of these games, like I don't play Candy Crush, but I know that they have like, I don't know, like a million levels. So
Sure.
everything's
Probably.
about continuously progressing, getting farther and farther and farther in these games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, what if we don't make it so you have to pay to be able to progress? But we give you incentives that make it easier to progress if you give us a
Mm,
little bit of money.
yes.
And then people that
Yes.
want to get through faster, they can pay a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of money. And that's what they've, ran with everything. It's
Yeah.
crazy and it works and it's perfect because that's the
Yep.
whole thing, Pokemon Go, like you said before with the walking to hatch the eggs. They have incubators that are like better than the regular one, where
Right.
they're like, "Oh, you only have to walk half the distance."
Half the distance.
Where you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "So if I put this many coins in, I can walk 5 kilometers to hatch a 10-kilometer egg, and the 10-kilometer eggs are usually dope shit."
Right.
And you can
Yep.
get incubators with coins, but it takes you a while to get coins because you actually physically have to fight a gym. But if you pay money,
Right.
you can just have all the coins you want right away. You
Yep.
still have to walk to hatch the eggs. There's no
Right.
shortcut in that,
Right.
except for getting an incubator, which you
That
need to
helps
get
you
coins.
shortcut
And
that.
if you buy the coins, you can get a bunch of incubators and cook a
Yeah.
bunch of them really fast. And it's
Yep.
just like that for everything.
Yep.
There's the raid passes and all that other stuff. You put money into it, you can get your game going faster. And
Yeah.
it's funny to see the flip side, or not the flip side, but to see the people that
Mhm.
you play with sometimes and to see the different stats and to
Yeah.
see where they're sitting. And you're like,
Yep.
oh, you 100% put a lot of money into this
Right.
because you see their level and you see the amount that they've like walked and the amount of Pokemon that they've caught and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
And you're like, the only way you got to this level is because you've been paying money to do raids and stuff,
Yep. Yep.
which
You've
is
been throwing
not,
money at it.
yeah, you to do the high XP number of
Yeah.
things that you're doing is
Yep.
throwing money at it.
Right.
And it's funny to see that where you're just like, I've been grinding since it
R
came out
right.
and
Yeah.
we're the same level
Right.
because I
And
don't want to spend money like you.
yeah. And I'm having this moment right now as you're saying all this that makes me go, they reimagined the arcade.
Oh yeah.
They rethought. They figured out a different way to do the arcade thing.
Yeah.
Because the
Uh-huh.
whole thing about the arcade is you'd pay and you'd go and you'd go and you'd go, and if you were good, you never had to pay more.
Right.
You just played. You just were good
Mm-hmm.
at it. But to get good, you had to fucking pay.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
that's the arcade
Totally makes
model.
sense. Yeah, because you're playing and then you die, and then it's either like, give us more money and you can keep going from right where you're at.
Yep.
Or that's the end of this game. And
Or
you're like,
yep.
oh, damn it. No, give me a quarter. Give me a quarter.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that
Oh,
totally
and
makes
then you
sense.
walk
Where,
away and you're like, "Fuck, ran out of quarters today."
right.
You're gonna be back in 3 days. and then you're gonna
Yeah.
pump in quarters, and you're gonna get better, and you just keep it, and it's kind of like, shit, man, that's what they did. They rethought the arcade, and I wonder
Yeah.
if people who didn't grow up with the arcade, with our version of buy the game, grind it out, like JRPGs, right? Like you buy the game, you get really far, and then at some point you just have to grind until you can beat the game.
Right.
We have a more of a grind mentality, I think,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like a tolerance for grinding where it's just
Yeah.
like, I wonder if people are just like, oh no, I'm not gonna grind, because now
Right.
this is one of the questions I've written down. It's like, who's a gamer anymore? Everybody's a fucking gamer, but like,
Right.
because we were OG gamers, do we have a different way of interacting now? I don't know. Like,
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't really think about it until you just said it now, but for sure, it's almost like the question's not who's a gamer, it's like who's a grinder,
fuck.
you know,
Good
which
point.
is
Not Grinder the
sounds
app, but like,
yeah, yeah, we're not talking about, you know, I'm not trying to hook up with other dudes, but I'm sure that app works fine too. That's not the kind of apps we're talking about.
right, right.
Actually,
Now what
sounds
we're
like
talking
that
about.
one.
I'm sure
It
that
sounds like
works
that
great.
one actually works better than the other dating apps. But I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So I don't know. I'm not trying any of them. But the I forgot about what we were talking about. Oh, grinding. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
grinding. Um, so yeah, dude, that totally makes sense because I remember like with even the regular Pokemon getting it on like Game Boy and stuff. Like
Yeah.
when you're getting into Pokemon, I knew for sure that I would catch a couple of good ones, and I wouldn't move on from that spot. I'd get a couple of good Pokemon, and I'd be like, I got a good base here. I got a grass. I got a grass type. I got a fire type. If you're not familiar with Pokemon, the different types are strong and weak against different stuff, so you're
Mhm,
trying to build them up, and you're like, this is
mhm,
going to come in handy even if these aren't my end alls. I'm going to stay in this little grass field, run into wild Pokemon,
mhm.
and get these things up to like 11 or 12, so when I encounter trainers later, I
Yep.
can beat them and get their money and gain more stuff. So
Yeah,
like
and
right away,
progress.
out the gate, I'm like grinder mentality where like I'm going to get some of these low end Pokemon up to a acceptable level, and
Mhm.
then we'll progress forward.
Right.
Where today's kids are just like, all right, I'm starting the game. What's the point? I need to get coins. I need to do this. How much do coins cost? Oh, mom, can you buy me coins?
Yep.
I need to play this game. And it's
Yep.
just like,
Yep.
that wasn't a thing back in the day. It was just
No,
like,
no,
once you
no.
got the game, you were set.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I do, that's a really good point. It's just like, it's not who's a gamer, because like everybody's a gamer now. Like you have a
Right.
fucking phone, you game. Like,
Yeah.
so what is the term gamer, in quotes, as I do finger quotes, is like, what does
Yeah.
that even mean anymore? But it's just like, who's who still hits these shits old school, I
Right.
think, is the question of like,
Yeah.
that's what we're
Yep.
talking about. Shit,
And
man.
it
Yeah.
and it pretty much goes back to what I was saying even. Like I didn't even think about it till just now, but I was even saying it was funny to like catch people that aren't grinders, you know?
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
be like, "I'm looking at your game and I know that you
Oh,
paid for your money." Ha, that's
yeah, yeah.
funny. We're
Like
the
us
same
us who've
level.
been doing this shit since NES, to look at these people now on your brand, like, most current version of your Galaxy, right? You can look at
Right.
them and you go like, "Oh, yeah,
And
that
because you
person never
understand,
touched a Nintendo."
right, right. And because you understand them in like the numbers and everything, you're like, the only
Yeah.
way you did this was with money, you
Yeah,
know? So
because
the
you're playing the game different ways. Like, you just, you understand the game's functions almost. Like, you
right,
understand how the game actually works. You've
right.
done this enough, and you can pick it apart and go, "Oh, I know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of that's even crazy to me that like that's even enjoyable for people.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I think you're kind of taking the fun out of it, Like
Mhm,
with
mhm.
Pokemon Go, part of the fun is grinding it out, like
Yeah.
you're catching the Pokemon, you have to catch so many to be able to evolve the Pokemon in this
Mhm.
form of Pokemon Go. You get candies and you catch the Pokemon, you have to catch so many of them
Right.
to evolve it to its next stage, and then you get
Mhm.
more candy to evolve it to its next stage if it happens to evolve twice or whatever.
Yeah.
And all that grinding and stuff. And if you're just paying money to be able to like level up XP and stuff, and you're doing the raids and you're getting all the legendaries and you're like skipping to the like most powerful Pokemon that are basically the end, or you're doing raids that are like the fully evolved form. You didn't have to work to, get
Yeah.
to evolve one.
Right.
It's like
Because you
some of
got it
these,
in that
yeah,
by fighting that with 5 other friends, you
yeah,
got to the 3rd level. And I didn't even think about it till right now, but, like, if you joined us for the fishing half and then you stumbled into the mobile game part and you're listening to this and you're like, "I don't really play games, it's like grinding." I didn't even think about it, but, like, grinding is just that's putting in time to get
yeah,
to the next level, right? That's like
right,
putting in the time, putting in the work so that way like a typical 3rd level of a Pokemon takes 26 hours to get to, or you could pay $2.99 and you can just get that 3rd level Pokemon straight
right,
away. Or you can go to a very popular location, say Mall of America, and there's 40 people doing a fight against the 3rd level Pokemon. You
right,
have you've gotten 2 first level Pokemon, and then you go to the Mall of America, you gather 50 people, and you get the 3rd level Pokemon just by being at the Mall of America. Now,
right,
I'm not saying that's a illegitimate 3rd level Pokemon. What I'm saying is that maybe the only few that means you only open up Pokemon Go a couple times. And now you can just, oh, I got a Charizard. Check me out. 3rd level the 3rd evolution of a Pokemon. And you're like, cool. So where's the middle one? Well, I don't have that one. Yeah.
right.
Okay. I know how you're playing the
All,
game. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
how we can
Also,
identify.
yeah, and the level, your character's level.
Yeah, because you
Your
level up your
third,
character
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Right.
If you have a good Pokemon, but your character's level isn't that high, then the level of your Pokemon is not that high.
Right.
So my Pokemon are stronger than your Pokemon, even though we have the exact same Pokemon.
Right. Just
Because
because you have the
mine,
3rd level, the 3rd evolution Pokemon doesn't mean it's
right,
strong. Doesn't mean it's a good one, depending
yeah,
on how you play the game.
yeah. So when you're talking
Yeah.
about video games and especially like that RPG style of like leveling up and everything, like
Yep.
everything gets better with the grind, and there's ways to cheat
Yep.
the system to go past it, but some of that stuff is like there's nothing else you can do but grind it out.
Right. Right.
Even those people that are paying money, they're still out there grinding because they're doing a lot of raids and stuff, but
Mhm.
they have to like find other people and set stuff up. They're kind of shortcutting the line. It's taking less time to get out
Yeah.
there and go and do it and stuff. But kind of putting it into like that fishing analogy, like grinding, it's like if you want to learn how to do it on your own and get good and just be able to go out there and be like, I know how to do this, I can get it done,
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
that grinding, there's a way to skip the line and go pay a charter
Yep.
and you guys can go out, but it's not as gratifying to have somebody else be like, I baited the hook, I put us on the fish,
Right.
I drove the
Right.
boat, we just pulled a bait behind the boat, and when the thing bit on, you reeled it in. It's still cool to be like, look what I got.
Right. Yep.
But because somebody else put you on the fish, it's not as gratifying. When
Yep.
you do that grind and you finally get to the end game and you did it, you're just like,
And you did it.
oh, I
Right.
did it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. I knew that's where you were gonna go, and that's 100% what it is, and mobile gaming has changed that for sure, that landscape of, like, the
Oh,
grinding in the games, and so and controllers too. That was one thing I wanted to talk to you about because I game different than you in the
yep.
sense of, like, I have different controllers. I bought Sony phones specifically, so my DualShock 4 will connect to my phone, and people like Rockstar release Max Payne that ran on a PS2. They'll release it on a phone now because, of course, your phone can handle it. Like I said earlier, PS2, PS3
Right,
even
right.
now is not more powerful than or your phone's more powerful than even a PS3 at this point.
Yeah,
And so I controller game on my phone, and I think it's fucking sick to
yeah.
play these controller games, but they're not the like that's not what mobile gaming is. That's a
Right.
rarity. Do you use a
Yeah.
controller at all? And
No, I've thought about it a lot, but I've never actually, like, went through with, like, getting a controller and setting it up. But
Yeah.
I've thought about it, like, some of the games where I definitely see, like, this would be sick because some of the games
Mhm.
are just annoying. You know, like, cause you can download, like, there's Call of Duties on here that are pretty darn legit.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
PUBG
PUBG
Mobile,
Mobile, uh-huh.
Fortnite is on your phone.
Fortnite, full
All
on
the
version of Fortnite. It's a full version of Fortnite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and those would be sick to have a controller with because
yeah.
when you're trying to do it on your phone, it's like especially when you're trying to do it with like a joystick and you push like too far to the right or whatever, then you have to like move your hand back
Move it back, yeah.
to get
Mhm.
it to, where you're trying to go, where if you have the sticks, like that's not happening. When you push it one way, it's going that way, you know?
Right, right, right.
So I've definitely saw some flaws with just trying to use the phone where I'm like, man, it would be sick to have a controller here, but
Yep.
I don't
But it
sit
takes
around.
another level of, like, gamer or person or investment. Like, it's another level. Get the
It
controller,
is.
connect
It
the
is.
controller, make sure it's the right controller. Will the game be compatible with it? Like,
Yep.
it I'm a
Yeah.
troubleshooting IT kinda guy. I hang in there for that stuff, but it's not
Sure.
easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, and I don't that's one of the things where it's like I'm too analytical where
Yeah.
if I decided that I was gonna like, I think this controller will work with this game,
Mhm.
I got like a week's worth of research before I pull the trigger on anything.
For sure. Yep. I totally understand what you're saying there. I completely get it. But it's just it's just one of those situations where it's like mobile gaming has changed gaming in general, right? And that's
Mhm.
all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to have a conversation about with you and just talk about it because we've been gaming forever and we
Yep.
haven't really talked about like the games that we play on our phones and how that has changed us identifying as
Yeah.
gamers, you know?
Well, and the like graphics and everything that have changed and what you
Yeah.
could do with it, like
Yeah.
I have on the Game Boy. I have on Game Boy Color, I have
Oh, nice.
Pokemon,
Nice, nice.
the trading card game on
Yeah.
Game Boy.
Sick, dude.
And I remember playing that, but like not really knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
I play Pokemon, the trading card game online on my phone now, and
Yeah.
that app is
Online.
dope. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah, dude.
has it like when you do your moves, it has like cool little graphics that it does depending on the type that you're using to attack. And
Yeah.
when you evolve the Pokemon, like you have your card and you put the evolution card on there and it like spins around. It's like and it has
Sick,
sound
dude.
effects and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to play. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you could concede on that other one, but if you're like getting your ass kicked and you know you're gonna lose, you can just be like, I give up. Like you don't have to stick in there until they like completely dismantle your whole team. You're like, yeah, I don't
Right.
have time to do
Y
this shit.
right, right,
Where like
right.
those
Yeah.
old games were like, I gotta get to a spot where I can save. I guess
Gotta
I
get to
gotta
the
let
save
this.
point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
gotta
yeah, for sure,
gotta
and now
try
it's
to.
just like, hit the power button quick, and I'll come back to it later.
Right, right. Or just close the app. Super simple. Just hit the button that opens up the app, swipe it away, and then
Right.
on their screen it's like you win, and on our screen it's the game's just not there until I'm ready
Yep.
to play it again. Like
You're just
it's
done, and
dope.
now you're checking out at Target, like
Right, right. Yeah.
like, I was gonna fucking
There
lose anyway, so time to check
right,
out.
right. Yep. Yeah, there's some pretty dope games that are out there, and like you said, like PS2, PS3, like for some of the kids that might sound like old systems, those games are still plenty good.
They still play
PS3
great for
especially.
sure, dude. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I have PS2 games. I'm playing fucking Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on my phone, and it's dope,
Yeah,
dude, and
dude.
it looks better and runs better than it
Right.
there are different physics. People will get into asshole things, but it doesn't matter. Generally speaking, it looks and plays better, and I just hook a controller to my phone and I fucking go.
Yeah, dude. That's
It's
awesome.
sick. Yeah.
Yep.
Super
And
dope.
when you have like uh accounts on different devices, you can just log in, like play
Yes.
wherever.
Yep.
Or like, or you don't have,
Crossplay, cross
somebody
save.
else has it and you don't have it and you want to show them and you're like, well, you'd have to start here. If you want, I can log into mine on your phone real quick and show you what it looks like later,
Yeah.
and you can get a feel for it and see if you want to play it, because I think
Yeah.
it's dope.
Right.
Stuff like that where you would have had to like, oh, dude, I got it. Let me bring over my system real quick. We'll hook it up to your TV. We'll sit down and play it.
Yep.
And now it's like I can show you what the game is like in a park.
Yeah. Right. For sure. Where we used to go through all that stuff as like gamers, console gamers from, way back. We used to do that stuff, bring over our memory cards and all that shit.
Oh
And now
yeah.
it's just like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, my mom does that stuff now. It's crazy.
Right. Oh
It's
yeah.
wild. All right, man. Well, that I think is a very good way to end mobile gaming. That it's not entirely true, but you know how we got to do it, because you got to do the obligatory stuff where you go to like Real AF TV. That's right, Fishing Real, realaf.tv, and you can find us there. It'll find you the 2022 goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the year. It'll find you our Instagram page, our Facebook, our Twitter, all of that stuff. It'll also help you find the contact page so we can get your input and feedback on the podcast. Hopefully, this shorter version of the random take is what you're looking for. Still going to be a long podcast. That's just what we do. Me and Tim like to talk.
Right.
Tim, what am I missing? I'm missing something.
Review. If you could review
Yes.
stuff on Apple iTunes or Amazon the app or
Spotify the app. I think Amazon.
Spotify the app, right? Amazon
Maybe.
is like, you could just, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Review it if you're listening someplace that lets you review it.
Yeah.
And with the contact stuff, if you want to let us know anything, if you're like, we think we would like this or we would like that, or even with the Patreon stuff, if you're like, I would pay for this,
right, we can change our tiers. They're not locked in. We're down
for sure. We can change some stuff up.
Yeah. Well put. Oh, and the video, go over to YouTube, look up Real AF TV. Remember, Real Life Fishing Real AF TV on YouTube, because we're about to drop crappie spawn video.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast in real time, otherwise it might be there already if you go over there,
right?
Because that is the other part. We're not
and
just
do
a
all
podcast.
That YouTube stuff over there. If you like what you're seeing on that YouTube video, do the whole click the subscribe button. They got that notification bell so when we'll drop another video. If that comes soon, hopefully it will. We're trying to get everything like more streamlined so we can get stuff out where it's not like we're dropping a crappie spawn video that I shot last year, this year.
Sometimes that's how production goes, though. But
it is how production goes.
I understand what you're saying is that like more real time or just more regularity to it would be nice, but it's hard with the quality that we're trying to do. The fact that we're remote, you're mostly shooting on your own, and then I'm editing and all that fun stuff. So,
and there's a whole gamut of things. Getting out there is another story.
Yeah,
you can't just edit a video without actually going out there and fishing.
So, that's a really, really good point. But Tim, you know what I did forget to mention in the gaming segment was oh my god, did that create a place for these quick turn programmers, open just files to go.